Hi, this is Eliza O. You can find me on Instagram at Eliza O Comedy, and you're listening to Mitch, Please.
Mitch, Please, since 2016. Flying with angels, dancing with devils, caught in between a saint and a rebel. Trying to live my best life, go into it like a WWF fight. And the fans are screaming, they got my back like I'm really beaming. So beam me up, Scotty, kicking down doors like I know karate. I got the fuego like Mojave, getting high is my hobby. Mitch, Please, in 2016. Podcast so ill, it might catch a body. Can't no one harm me. It would take more than the army to stop Mitch Valentine from doing what he gotta do. He stays on his grind. R.I.P. Joe Rogan. Y'all better know that we coming. We ain't ever running. So turn up the sound and keep it 100. Keep it 100. Mitch Valentine, keep it 100. Keep it 100. Mitch Please podcast, keep it 100. Now chill. Yeah, hashtag make dreams happen. Pro Championship Entertainment. At Heartbreaker MV. At PCE since 2015. Yeah, follow your dreams, y'all. Mitch, Please, since 2016.
Welcome to episode 42 of Mitch, Please. This is Mitch Valentine coming at you, coming off an amazing weekend. I was able to do some stand-up comedy at the Paradise Performing Arts Center to help benefit the campfire victims. It was incredible, guys. 200 people packed in that place. Huge stage. Really honored to be a part of that. Also, was able to do the Feather Falls Casino, another benefit show, and just probably the most spectacular and special event I've been able to do so far. And doing a lot of things and going on 16 nights in a row right now as I record this of stand-up comedy. And we've got TJ Hudson, from the Chico comedy scene. He's going to be a guest here later on in the show. Stay tuned for that. But right now, I'd like to bring in a very special guest representing the Lemoore Line Dating Services. She is the one and only Jaime Koehler. Welcome to Mitch, Please.
Thanks for having me, Mitch. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you, and you're here because you offer a very special service that I think some listeners of my show are going to be interested in. Basically, you've been running your own dating service here for how long?
I actually just started it. I give a lot of advice to people, but this is the first time I've actually started charging people for it.
Yeah, well, so you were telling me before we started recording there was a friend of yours or a lady you know that hadn't dated in almost a decade, and through talking with you and your guidance and your expertise, has been going on dates. And I just know, for me personally, it's like everybody's on Tinder, and it's just not something I'm interested in ever doing. Is just getting on Tinder and doing it. That's kind of the lazy way, in my opinion, is just to get on your phone and just click around. What you're doing, though, you're charging people, but you're actually offering free consultations.
I am.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so actually one of my clients, she hadn't dated for 8 years, and she had a few sessions with me, and now she's gone on 2 dates. Nice. So I thought that was really great. Also, so as far as the free consultation, so you get a 30-minute free text consultation. Nice. If you wanted to upgrade to phone, or we also do FaceTime, or even in person, it would just be a few dollars more, but it's totally free if you just do the 30-minute free text consultation for your first time.
Yeah, I mean, make sure it's something that's going to work for them, right?
Right.
I mean, if they text with you for a half hour, I mean, they're going to know, okay, this is going to work for me, or this isn't going to work for me, and there's no charge.
Right.
So, I mean, you're doing a lot. You're doing texting, you're doing phone calls, you're doing FaceTime, you're doing in-person consultations.
Right.
What are some of the things, without revealing too much of what you're going to offer, what are some of the things that somebody would want to discuss with you about, and how are you going to help them exactly?
Right. Well, I started this because I actually got divorced, and I didn't know what I was doing, because when I was not married, we didn't have online dating. So I didn't know what I was doing, and it was horrible. And so, through my trial and error, I thought I could help people who, maybe are just getting back out there after a breakup, or, older people who are single parents, just anyone who it feels like they're not, getting the hang of this online dating. I can help you. I can help improve your profile. I can look at your pictures. I can spell check it. I can swipe for you even. I mean, there's so much I can do. I can, you can text me pictures of what you're wearing. I can tell you if that's a good thing to wear on a date. You can text me screenshots of what you're talking about with someone, and I can tell you what to say even.
Nice.
All the things that maybe you want to tell your friends, ask your friends advice for, but maybe you might be embarrassed.
Right.
Maybe it's about sex, maybe it's about whatever. You can tell me. I'm not going to judge you.
Yeah.
So
awesome. And you've been through the ringer. I mean, you've divorced. You're a single parent as well.
I am, yeah.
So, I mean, you have the experience of being in a really serious relationship, going through divorce,
Right.
getting back on the dating scene. You got a kid. You're doing this. You're working. You're doing all this stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, what else? As far as information on what you're doing? Do you have a website?
I do. I have a website, and also I did want to bring up something new that I'm actually starting.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be group dates. So basically, there's going to be 3 guys, 3 girls, typically, if I can get that many people, each time. And you all meet up at a restaurant. I'll be there. I'll introduce everyone. Then I'm going to leave. And you guys do your thing.
Nice.
It's a good way to date. If you're tired of the dating scene, it's a new way of doing things. And it's safer. It's, especially for, women, it's a lot safer. It's a lot less pressure for everybody. For men, it's nice because everyone just pays for their own meal. You don't have to buy some random person, a meal.
Yeah.
And you just kind of talk, and you could even end up making a friend. You could bring your friends with you if you wanted to have you and 2 other girls, be on a date with 3 strangers. That's great. It's a really good way of doing it, a really fun way of doing it, and a safe way of dating.
Yeah, I mean, we're all so busy in our lives, dealing with everything, work and kids maybe, and whatever
Right.
else, that you're able to organize things like this that
Right.
maybe people don't have time to organize.
Right.
You're doing the work. You're organizing the people. You're organizing the location.
Right.
You're setting it all up and making things easier for
Right.
everybody is the way I'm hearing this.
Right. And when I have enough people actually interested, I'll actually match you with people that, I think you would actually like. In the beginning, there may just be whoever's willing to do it. But the first dinner is free. I mean, other than you paying for your own dinner, you don't have to pay my fee.
Nice.
Because you get to try it out, see if it's something you're into, and you might meet the love of your life. You might meet a hookup. You might meet, even something having to do with business. You might meet a friend. I mean, who knows who you're going to meet? It's strangers, but it's people that, all are wanting the same things. I'll send people out on the same dinner who are all looking for a serious relationship, and then maybe one dinner everyone's looking for a hookup.
Yeah.
So
No, I like it. And so these are all things that you're doing on your website, that you're doing
Right.
on your Facebook page.
Right.
You're ready to text, you're ready to call, you're ready to
Right.
FaceTime, you're ready to do it all.
I'm ready.
Where can people find all this information?
Right. So the best way to contact me is by going to my website. So that's LamourLines with an S.com.
Can you spell that?
Yes, it's LamourLines.com. That's my website. You can email me through my website. I'll get right back to you. And it has all my information, everything. You can also like me on Facebook at L'Amour Lines. And you can also you can follow me on Insta at L'Amour Line Dating. And I think you'll have all that, right? So people can on your website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tag it I'll put it in the tags of the show here.
Okay, great.
So check out the description of the show right now, and you can find all that stuff.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, Jamie, thank you very much for coming on the show and sharing this. And what I'd like to do is maybe in 3 months or however long, get you back on the show and kind of get an update on how things are going.
Definitely. And, I don't know if you're single, but you could go on one of the group dates too.
I'm down. I'm down. I always like going on a date, and I like a group environment. Sounds like a fun thing to do. Yeah. I mean, just like you said, you get a hookup on business. You get a hookup on a hookup.
Right.
You get a hookup on your wife or your husband.
Right.
So
you never know. And too, I do eventually want to do like matchmaking, and I want to do like speed dating, and I want to do like maybe big singles events like dances. So, check out my website, check out my pages, because you never know what's going to pop up.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.
All right, here we go. We are live outside the infamous Studio Inn in Chico, California. I am Mitch Valentine. Welcome to Mitch Please. And I'm just going to welcome right now, I'm going to welcome in my guest, the one and only TJ Hudson. What's up, brother?
How are you, brother? Good to see you, man.
Dude, I've been wanting to do this podcast with you for a long time, dude. I'm glad we finally got it all lined up, and we're doing it, and we're here, and we're going to tell your story, sir.
Let's do it. We've been talking about this for a long time, actually, since you started the podcast, I believe.
Yeah, man.
So, and for whatever reason, it always seems to, you know what I mean? Nobody's fault, but for whatever reason, you and I've never been able to hook up. So
wasn't meant to be until now, man. Now it's happening. We're doing it live. We're in the 98 Camry. Like I said, you're only the fourth person I've had in this vehicle, and it's been,
98. It looks solid, dude. 98.
It's clean, right?
You buy it off of grandma? Like somebody kept this in good condition.
Stepdad's best friend.
This is 21 years old.
Yeah,
I would not know it.
Yeah, I know.
It's legal too. I could take this car to the bar.
Yeah, it's a nice vehicle, and I'm glad to have you in it. And we're going to tell your story, TJ. So where in the hell are you from?
Yuba City.
Yuba City, California. Born in Yuba City?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Okay. So what was it like as a
Yuba City?
white male growing up in Yuba City, California?
The worst. White male?
You're a white male, correct?
I was, last I checked,
Okay.
I don't know. It's 2019, man. I identify as a helicopter. So, for the podcast, let's just go with white male helicopter. I grew up in Yuba City. And, dude, I'm just, real quick, do you have any idea how hard it is to be a white male in 2019 America today? I am terrified to run into a minority or a female.
Yeah.
I immediately start apologizing, all right? Because everything's my fault.
Yeah.
So, life was, I don't want to say super easy. Now it sounds like I'm bragging. Life was super easy being a white male in Yuba City, California.
Well, did you have brothers and sisters? Did you have mom and dad? I mean, what's the deal?
I love answering this question. I've done it a million times. I grew up, I have just my mom, single mom, and just fucking angel, my hero, my mom.
Yeah.
But I grew up with my mom and two older sisters, so I was the only boy, and I was the baby. So I grew up just in a sea of estrogen, you know what I mean? I speak fluent female to this day. It's my second language, so I am bilingual. Nice. But no, I grew up with my two older sisters, my mom, in Yuba City, and I didn't know any different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When we're kids and we're growing up, a lot of people always ask me, what's it like to, not have a dad or whatever it is. But I wouldn't know just because I didn't know it was different.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it was always the norm to me. That's what I knew.
I get it.
And so Yuba City was cool. And my mom, we could start it off with just me preaching about how dope my mom is for 10 minutes or whatever. But my mom was the absolute saint. She busted her ass raising her 3 kids and put a roof over our head. And maybe we didn't always have the eccentric things that we wanted,
Yeah.
but we never wanted. Maybe us as kids thought we did,
Right.
But my mom provided everything, you know what I mean, that we needed.
Solid.
My mom used to. My mom learned how to weld, drive tractor. She became a nurse.
Damn.
No, my mom was she's badass. Everything you think about me, I got from her.
Well, hopefully not everything.
No. This big ass dick.
Well, what kind of stuff were you into as a kid, man? What were some of the shows you watched, or some of the things you liked to do?
As a kid, when it first began, one of my earliest memories, because my two older sisters, so my mom was a busting her ass, but so they could go cheerlead, for Pop Warner football, and I remember being 4, let's say, and having to go with my mom to cheerleading practice so my sisters could cheerlead.
Right.
But I'm watching Pop Warner football, but I can't play yet. So then once I was 5, and they're cheerleading, my mom, because it costs money, you got insurance, all that. But my mom, so I got to play football.
Okay.
And my mom and my sisters, nobody cared about football. They're not, athletes or, didn't care about it. But my mom's doing the best she can to raise a boy. She doesn't know. It's different.
Right.
So, but she saw that I got into football. My mom said she remembers me one day as a little, toddler or a little boy, a youngin'. But she tells me I sat down in front of the TV screen one time. I turned a football game on. Yeah, I found it myself. Mm-hmm. And I watched football.
And you're a 49er fan, right?
You goddamn right I am. 7-0 as at the point of this.
As we record this, they'll probably
actually when you probably hear this 11-0.
But they hadn't played the Rams again, because once they play the Rams in December, that's definitely an L.
That's going to be at home though.
Yep.
We already beat
I want to go.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
All right.
I'm going to that
I don't want to do it to you. You can be really sad driving home, but you come with me.
I've been sad driving home a lot, so
I'm sad driving home every night, or drunk, or both. But
so football was your thing.
Football was absolutely my thing. My mom bought me. She didn't know sports. She's just trying to raise a boy to the best of her guess.
See, I would have never thought you were a football guy.
Oh no!
And I've known you for 5 years.
Oh man!
So how long did you play football for?
I played football from 5 years old to 18.
Wow! What position?
Years. Wide receiver.
Yeah, I can see that. You got the length. You got the frame
and the jawline.
Yeah, the jawline.
The hands.
Yeah,
but
that's badass, dude.
Dude, that was my passion, man.
And you played in Yuba City?
Yuba City.
Okay, what was your teams in the high school? What was your team?
I was before high school. I was the junior honkers.
Okay, the honkers.
So if you can guess, in high school I was the honkers.
The honkers.
Which, obviously we got a lot of shit for that. Honkers, we got Spartans out there and Tigers and Wolverines, and I was on the honkers.
Better than a Trojan.
Well, Trojans are necessary sometimes. It's just be safe,
especially if you're honking.
Yeah, if you're gonna honk something, wear a Trojan. But
what else, bro? What stuff did you like? Ninja Turtles? Did you like?
Who didn't like the Ninja Turtles?
Right, the best.
Cartoon
of all time.
Yeah, actually, god damn it! It turns out the more you get me talking, I keep talking about my mom, but no, because she's trying to raise a baby boy. She's a single mom, and she's not a boy, so she's just doing the best she can. But my mom got me into all the right shit. Ninja Turtles, goddamn right.
Yep.
I consider myself more of a Michelangelo.
I was just going to ask favorite. Okay, so Michelangelo, that's respectable.
I could be a Donatello because I'm crazy smart.
Okay.
I am exceedingly intelligent.
Yep.
I could be a Raphael because I have a shit attitude. I get mad.
I don't see that. Raphael's my least favorite Ninja Turtle.
Calm down.
I don't know. He was always kind of like a whiny little bitch,
I agree with you. Donnie and Michelangelo. They had a cool attitude.
They were cool.
They didn't get into arguments. Because even Leonardo, if it's not Raphael, it's Leonardo. Those are my two least favorite. And you can rate them however you want.
Yeah.
But they're always bickering and fighting. I'm the leader. I'm the hard ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up. Donnie and Mike were just kicking it like, pork rind? Pork rind. Pizzas.
Yeah.
But Batman was a big thing for me.
Absolutely.
I was born in 87.
Me as well.
The original Batman, not the original, that's Adam West, but The Tim Burton Batman came out in '89, I believe. But
Michael Keaton.
Me and Michael Keaton, but Tim Burton, the director.
Yeah.
But my mom has taken me every Batman movie ever that has been released since then. Her and I have a Mama Sunday. We go watch Batman.
That's what's up.
So as a little boy, it was football and Batman.
There you go. That sounds like a damn good childhood. Now, getting into your teenage years, you were playing football, wide receiver. I mean, probably, I guess you're pretty damn good.
I was crushing.
You were crushing. What was going on? I mean, you had cheerleader sisters. Were they still cheerleading too?
Nah.
Because I'm be like, that'd probably be something like you got to be territorial about. If you know, I mean, you have older sisters. How'd that go?
I was very protective.
Yeah.
Being the baby, I was protective of both my older sisters. I was protective of my mama.
And they were probably protective of you.
Yeah. 100%. My oldest sister, I was like her Cabbage Patch baby. You know what I mean? I was 87. She was 84. So she had 3 years on me.
Gotcha.
But I was her Cabbage Patch baby. You know what I mean? She had a little brother. My mom's always at work.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was your babysitter.
She was my babysitter. She was me and my middle sister, her and I fought or just bickered a lot. You know what I mean?
How much older was the middle?
My oldest sister was 85. My middle sister was 84.
Gotcha.
So they're only a year apart.
Okay.
And then I was 3 years and 2 years younger than them.
Right.
But my oldest sister she took care of me. She showed me the way. Mm. So when I got into high school, she was a senior, and she was well known enough. She was popular enough. You know, she wasn't the cheer captain or, she's a very humble person. But she still, when I was a freshman, she was senior. I was hanging out with the seniors. You know, she brought me in under her wing. Mm-hmm. You know, my middle sister was kind of a wild child. She was hanging out. She was rebelling. She was hanging out with the other kids, whatever you want to call them. The dark side. I don't want to be disparaging.
No, I got you.
But we used to call them the scrubs.
Okay.
Yeah. My mom. Yeah. Me and my older sister called my middle sister a scrub a little too much. We were not the nicest. But my middle sister wasn't the easiest. But my older sister, dude, she took care of me. She told me, I'm just getting in high school, so I don't know what cool is, what not cool is. But she was like, no, don't buy black shoes. Get some white shoes. They're clean.
Okay.
And she was like, oh, listen to this band.
Okay.
She was taking me to parties, you know.
I mean, you had an in, bro. I mean, you're the younger guy with the older sister who's cool, and I mean, dude, that had to be pretty damn great.
I mean, it was cool because once again, my older sister. She's one of my heroes. She's the coolest, but. She's bringing me to her parties. She was humble, but she's bringing me to her parties. And then I'm this little wild child. I mean, I'm obviously a very charismatic or outspoken, in my opinion. I'm not patting myself on the
very humbly charismatic.
She was bringing me out to these parties, and I'm just this, in retrospect, I could see how these 18-year-olds found it very humorous to have this little 14-year-old at the parties, get me drunk for the first time.
Yeah.
But, now that I think about it, I mean, it definitely helped build the person I am today, build the confidence or the socializing skills that I have now.
And you were a football player, so were you like a jock, kind of preppy? Were you like, what was your style in high school?
Another thing, like when I think about this, it's it opened up a lot of avenues for me because we were poor growing up. And, you got the rich, cool kids, yada, yada.
Right.
But I was a jock, technically. But I hung out. I was like a chameleon. I could hang out. My high school had 3,500 kids, which is a lot. But
It's a lot of honkers.
It's a lot of honkers. A lot of honkers. And I was trying to honk with everybody. But I could go hang out with any given group, you know what I mean? The nerds, but also the jocks, my teammates, but also, I don't even know, it's 2019, the proper word.
The stoners.
The stoners.
The punk rockers, the goths.
Exactly, everything. I was a chameleon, but, my confidence, it took a while to find. A lot of times it was I don't know, not a false sense of confidence, but I was still learning how to be confident. That's not something you can explain to people or teach people. No. Confidence is like a light switch.
It's experience.
Someday one day it's going to flip or it's not.
Yeah.
You can't teach someone how to be confident. But I was overcompensating when I first started high school. I referred to myself in the third person for like 2 years.
What did you call yourself?
Oh, TJ Hudson. I mean, that's the third. TJ Hudson would have caught that pass.
So is your real name TJ?
Thomas James.
Okay. And you've always been TJ? I've
always been TJ. But I should have been like an author or a Supreme Court justice. Like Thomas James Hudson, that's a strong name.
Yeah, lawyer or something. But now what... let's talk about like partying and stuff, man. You said your sister took you to parties and stuff. You were 14. Is that when you kind of started drinking and smoking or whatever when you were 14?
I guess 14, 15 was my first experience with like alcohol. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember just like vividly. My sister took me to this party with the seniors.
Yep.
And we're playing some sort of card game, some pyramid card game, where if they flip this card and they get to pick. All I remember is everybody, because which in retrospect I would have done the same thing, but everybody picked
you to drink.
TJ. TJ.
What was your first drink? Like, do you remember what it was? Was it a shot? Was it a mixed drink? Was it a beer?
No. It must have been beer.
Yeah.
Which also, we built up. Everybody, even especially these like little kids or teeners, whatever. You're so excited to like drink some beer, and then you taste it. Turns out beer is awful.
Yeah.
But you're hanging out with the cool seniors, so you got to put on a strong face. You're like,
dude,
I love it.
In Reading, bro, because I started my partying days. They started in Paradise, but they really got going when I moved to Reading. With Mark Leathers,
yeah,
his brother Matt Leathers, his wife Teresa.
Oh, I love all
that's
three
my
of them.
homegirl, dude. We went to high school together, and I blame her. She's got me into partying and stuff. And dude, the thing was steel reserves.
Oh,
so disgusting.
No, I've been there. I remember in high school when let's say 16, 17 at this point. But when we're finally getting beer, but we would give people $20, $25, whatever, and we were like, get what you can get.
Right.
They're like, what do you want? And we're like, we don't know.
No clue.
How would we know?
There's no Google.
There's no Google.
Yeah.
And we're 16 years old.
Right.
So we were drinking a lot of Natty Ice.
Yep.
Natty Ice, man.
Natty Ice was a big one.
Still to this day, I'm not even that upset about it. It got us where we were trying to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't know the difference.
Yeah, Natty Ice was a big one. Ghetto beer bongs, man. Teresa would we'd get a water bottle, an empty one, and we'd cut the bottom off of it. We'd stick our tongue in the drink hole, and then we'd fill it up with a beer.
I love it.
Ghetto beer
There's
bong,
no even hose.
No, ghetto beer bong.
You just poured a beer into a
cut up water bottle and chugging it, dude. Yeah,
I love it. But
so I mean, I guess let's move on from high school and stuff. I mean, did you go to college? I mean, what were your plans after high school?
I was so excited. I got one offer to go play at Portland State for football.
Hell yeah!
But it wasn't I don't know, a real scholarship. They were offering me like $1,500 a semester, which wasn't going to do anything. I mean, that would cover my books, but I still got to get a job and.
Yeah.
So I was so excited to just move out with my buddies. I was so excited to be 18 and get on my own. Mm-hmm. So at 18, we all moved up to Chico. A bunch of my buddies were going to Chico State, and they got an apartment at the zoo.
Okay.
Yep. What is that? 5 and
Nord. 5th and Nord.
5th and Nord,
yep.
man. Timber Oaks now, but it's the zoo.
It's the zoo.
But me and my one of my best friends, we didn't even live there. Our 4 buddies did, but we just couch surfed for 6 months. It was everybody's first time in college or in Chico. I was going to community college, but we were just crashing on the couch, smoking way too much weed. Mm-hmm. I didn't smoke weed until I didn't smoke cigarettes or weed, or I was a really good kid. I didn't cuss, but as soon as football season was over, senior year, like once in my head I knew that I didn't have any more football to play. Mm-hmm. Then I was like, well, let's figure out what this whole marijuana thing's about. Or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for a second. Why did you stop football? What was it? Just you were just done? You were hurt?
I would have loved to continue playing football. And sometimes I wish I would have continued or just tried harder, but I think my attention got lost. I was excited to graduate high school. I was excited to live in Chico and start partying with my friends. My priorities changed.
I mean, you did it for 13 years.
Exactly, yeah.
So, I mean, you had to be, maybe you were probably just ready to do something different.
Yeah, I don't think I was like, worn out. I just think I lost
Passion.
not even passion, because I love it to this day, and it's tough to get 12 friends to want to go out and even play two-hand touch.
Yeah.
I love the game. It's my favorite thing in the world. But yeah, I just my priorities changed. I was more excited to go hang out, be out of the house. I was to be independent.
Yeah.
Be
a social butterfly, because that's kind of what you are. I feel you just like being around people and talking and
and it was
laughing.
It was moving to Chico. I was a class clown in high school, but I feel like, and we talked about confidence, but I feel like I really kind of came out of my shell or became more confident once I came up to Chico.
And you're smoking a lot of weed.
I was smoking a lot of weed.
Now, what about like entertainment? Like, were you starting to get into any stand-up comedy? Did you have certain actors or entertainers or personalities that you were drawn to?
Well, growing up, first of all, my mom always tells me I was born to be a comedian, or just an entertainer. She has VHS tapes of me when I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I had heard a specific commercial on the radio or on TV, and I would not stop, imitating it or reciting it.
What was the commercial?
So, and I want to find this on Google. I want to go back and find it. Yeah. But it goes, picture 5-year-old TJ.
Yeah.
My mother's scarf? Maybe. My mother's tampons? No way. I use new Playtex Ultra Glide with cardboard applicator. I don't know, man. I had it down, which I had no idea what I'm even talking about.
Oh, jeez.
And I didn't know what a tampon is, but I can picture, in my mom's head or an adult's head, they're like, this kid. But I just knew that they laughed, so I kept saying it.
That's hilarious.
But, tampon commercial was my first thing, and it made people laugh, and I realized that, so I just wanted to make people laugh. So I was always the class clown, the funny guy. I didn't discover comedy up here until, if I'm guessing off the top of my head, I'm 32 now. I want to say I've been doing it about 7 years.
Yeah.
And I'd already been living in Chico for years, but I had this. I was living on my own, had my own little one-bedroom house, but I had a neighbor. I was talking to him about comedy, and he said, "Well, there's a scene here in town," and I didn't know about that. I didn't know there were open mics or anything like that. And
right.
Once he told me, hey, there's a scene here in town, I kind of looked into it, showed up and started doing that,
Now, before we get into that, your first night on stage, because I want to talk about that. Just going back, was there any specific personalities, anybody that motivated you that you can remember growing up through the years?
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a very popular answer.
I see some Jim Carrey in you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just the acting out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the facial expressions, too.
Yeah, and be animated and be almost over the top.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Nope.
I told you earlier, because I say some heinous jokes every now and then, but or some very tongue-in-cheek stuff, but somebody told me very early on, and I wish I could remember who it was, but somebody told me very early on, they said, do you know why you get away with telling the jokes that you tell? And I said, why? And they said, because you smile while you do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm letting the audience know that I know that it's a joke.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm playing with you. But Jim Carrey was very over the top, very animated, and he was also somebody I imitated as a kid all the time.
Favorite Jim Carrey movie?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
I have not seen that.
You should. It's Kate Winslet. It's not necessarily funny. It's funny that you would ask me that, because that's my favorite movie of all time.
Well, he can get deep.
He's got range.
He doesn't have to be funny, like Number 23 and stuff,
Yeah, I mean, not the greatest movie. Eternal Sunshine. You got to watch it.
But his acting, I'm saying, he can do all kinds of things.
Well, just that's the other thing. People pigeonhole a lot of people because you're a comedian, so now you always have to be silly. But first of all, I think being a comedian or just being being funny in general is a sign of well, now I sound pretentious. I'm patting but it's a sign of being intelligent. If you can be funny,
quick-witted.
Yeah. But a lot of times people just expect you to be that person all the time.
And it's probably like a certain part of the brain. I mean, I'm getting into science and stuff, but there's intelligent people that maybe they can't do what we do, you know, but they are smart in other ways. So like comedy's this side of the brain or whatever it is. But let's talk about that first night you did comedy, bro. Do you remember the venue? Do you remember how you felt? Take me through it.
I do. Once again, we're about to talk about how cool I think I am.
It's 2012.
No, dude, it was, and it was awesome. I went to the Down Low. I believe Phil was still hosting at the time. Phil from Chico.
And he is now.
yeah. Full circle.
Yep.
But I showed up, and I had some jokes prepared. Like I said, most people, I assume, were like, should have been. I should have been more nervous than I was, but I showed up confident. And the jokes, man, I had some rough jokes. A lot of one-liners, you know. First time I hit pussy, she said, "Stop chewing," and like that was it.
How was the crowd? Like, how did it feel getting up there? Like, were they attentive? Was it
my first time?
nerve-wracking?
I told people I was going to do it, so I had like some coworkers. I had some friends come out, so
Nice.
Which I also think was important. I had a receptive and supportive audience.
Yes.
Which, thinking about it, looking back now, was probably super important. They made me feel good, so I kept doing it.
Yep.
But I felt like I had a good set, all things considered, being my first time. I felt like I had a good set. And then Phil, who I didn't even know, but I could tell was a big deal. He's the host. He's the man.
Yeah.
Phil was the only other comedian that night to come up to me after the show, but Phil said, "Hey, keep doing this." Yeah. He said, "You're good. Keep doing this." So, I had a great night. I hit the ground running and almost got a little too cocky for the rest of my shows for the next 6 months because I didn't bomb.
So you were doing mics at the Down Low every week.
Down Low, Maltese. Back in the day, it was every other. They'd switch off each week.
Right.
So it was Monday at the Down Low, Monday at the Maltese.
Yep. And that was going on for a while. Now, when did you get booked on like your first show, or maybe you were paid something?
My first big show was also my first big bomb.
Nice.
I got to go do the Blue Room, probably 6 or 7 months in, because I was doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was the new guy on the scene, but who's like
got some talent.
Yeah. I'm doing good. So I go to the Blue Room. So that night I requested off from work, but I couldn't get it off. And the Blue Room's about a block away from where I work at the time. Mm-hmm. So I got off at like 8 o'clock finally, and I went and changed downstairs, and I ran over to the Blue Room, and I thought I was up in 5 minutes. Well, the host tells me, he's like, "No, you're up in an hour."
Cool.
So, might have been better had I just been up in 5 minutes. So now I got time to think about it. I had a bottle of gin at my locker in work, so I went back and got my bottle of gin.
No juice?
No juice at the time, no.
Just straight gin?
Straight gin. Whew. And it was the first time my family had come out to see me. So they're in the audience, and I'm sitting backstage, and I'm second-guessing every one of my jokes, and I'm drinking literally a half-fifth of gin.
Jeez.
So by the time I got on stage, belligerent. And the story I'm told, because I don't remember, but from what I'm told by several credible sources, I got on stage and I got into my first joke. I got 30 seconds into my first joke 6 times. I would get 30 seconds into the joke and I would start the joke over verbatim.
Wow.
So people are sitting in the crowd and they're like, "This is either going to be brilliant or tragic." They're like, "What is he doing?"
Jeez.
And I wish I had a good punchline for that 6th time, but I didn't.
Honkers.
Smooth. Honking, baby. My seat. But it took 2 people to pull me off stage. Somebody had to come grab the mic out of my hands, and the other person had to grab me from behind.
Oh, man.
And so
I was going to say you pulled a Zach Reed, but I mean, that sounds worse.
We call it the gincident.
The gincident
now, but
2012.
Dude, I went home. I had to walk home, and I'm hammered, and I'm bawling. Right. I am crying.
Devastated.
And I'm telling everybody, I was like, "I quit comedy. I'm done." And I said, "I'm going to be an accountant." Which I've never taken an accounting class. I have no idea why that was what I decided to do with my life. But I said, "No, I'm going to be an accountant." And turns out I can't count. So, like 4 days later, once I processed it, and we had another open mic coming up. But I was like, "No, I got to get back up there. I got to keep doing this." Yep. But my first big show was my first big bomb.
Were you on the poster and everything for the Blue Room show, and did you get paid?
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't remember.
I mean,
I got you.
it was that kind of night. Like, I don't remember any specifics from that show. I remember I was excited. I was nervous. My family's there.
Yeah.
I hope they didn't pay me.
Right?
I mean,
I just feel like for wrestling and then like for comedy, like that time where personally, like I made it on the poster, you know what I mean? My name or my picture, and then like, where I got paid, you know, it's like, wow, that's a feeling for me. I'm like, this is incredible.
absolutely.
Right?
No.
Do you remember that feeling at all? Like when someone slipped you a 20
Oh,
or
100%. I think with that first show, the Blue Room show, I think, like you're saying, but that feeling, I think the nerves got to me.
Yeah.
I was so excited and I wanted to do so good.
Right.
So I defeated myself. But once I got into a competition at the 1078 Gallery.
Nice.
And I crushed. I did good. Man, I got paid. And
It was a Chico competition?
it was a Bob's comedy show.
Okay.
Yeah. At the 1078 Gallery. But
when was this? 2013 or
yeah,
something like that?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you've been booked on so many shows over the years, man. I mean, I can't imagine you can even remember half of them, you know. And it's like, what was some of your favorite memories of some of the shows you've done over the years?
Oh man, I've kept. I try to keep every single flyer. I think it's like cool scrapbooking stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I've tried to keep. I have a drawer full of flyers.
Nice.
But God, one of my favorite shows.
Whitewater Saloon. I know it. Top of the list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that goes without saying. So I didn't want to.
I felt so bad, bro, because I've only been able to work with you on like that. This is like the only show I think I've got to work with you on, and it was like the worst attentive crowd like one of the worst like attentive crowds I had like at that bar. But dude, yeah, I mean, you've been to the El Rey, bro. I mean, you've been to Sacramento. Like, what's some of the stuff that stands out?
The El Rey was unbelievable. My first El Rey show, I got to work with Jay Larson, who was still is, but he was one of my favorite comedians. I was listening to his podcast and his comedy before I even started comedy. I loved this dude. And
what's the name of his podcast? I'll check it out.
It was The Crab Feast. They don't do it anymore, but I mean, they got 300-400 episodes.
Yeah.
Him and Ryan Sickler, it's hilarious.
Okay.
But I mean, he does, something similar where, they talk, just bring in the comedian, tell a story. But it was awesome. And that's what really got me even more involved in wanting to do comedy. So I got to work with him at the El Rey, and I think we sold out. I think we had like 500-600 people there, which is nuts. That's a surreal feeling.
Insane,
when
man.
you're on stage and you're looking out at and there's 600 people.
Oh my gosh.
It's surreal, dude. And
how many minutes did you do?
Off the top of my head, if I'm guessing, let's say 15.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And when I went on stage, my buddy who was backstage told Jay Larson, he says, TJ would never tell you this, but you're one of his top 3 of all time. TJ, super stoked to meet you, And so while I'm on stage, Jay took a picture of me on stage from backstage, and then he put it on his Instagram or Snap, which he's got 1 million followers.
That's badass.
And he said, watching TJ Hudson tank on stage. And so I get off stage, I'm feeling pretty good about myself, and I walk into the green room, and Jay Larson is laying on the couch, sleeping,
right,
pretending to sleep. And he wakes up and he goes, oh, are you done? And he's like, I didn't hear any laughing, or, it was so quiet out there. And you're such an asshole. But, yeah, just him tagging me, he was just such a cool dude, man. He signed my poster, and he said, keep doing another 8 years, and maybe you'll finally make it. So, never meet your heroes.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, dude, but that was a super, super cool show. It was surreal to have 600 people laughing at you, and
working with a guy you admire. I mean,
exactly, and
it's gonna be hard to top.
And to not bomb.
That's gonna be hard to top that one.
Nah.
Okay,
it's coming up.
There
I don't know which one. But it's a great feeling when you comedy when you get on stage. If that first joke, because I'm always nervous. I'm confident when the light comes on and I'm on stage and I got the microphone.
Yeah,
I feel at home, but you're still nervous leading up to that point. And when that first joke lands, it just puts everything at ease. You know what I mean? You're nervous, and you're like, oh my God, I hope this goes well. And if you can hit that first joke, you kind of fall into place, and you're like, oh yeah, I do know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So, definitely meeting Jay Larson and performing at the O Ray in front of 600 people. I'd say that was definitely one of my highlights thus far.
Fantastic, dude. That's badass. I truly believe bigger and better things are going to come your way. And it's like, I guess as we wrap up here, I mean, is there any other, that's a tough one to top, but I mean, is there any other people maybe in the Chico comedy scene or, crazy stories of maybe someone like Don Ashby's had someone rush the stage on him, like any kind of wacky, nutty things that you've experienced, whether it's in Chico or somewhere else?
Oh, man. I was there the night. I was hosting the night Don got rushed.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Here at the Studio Inn.
Yeah. I was hosting and I had to keep the show going after that point. So I was like, all right, let's keep this Titanic floating. Crazy stories. I mean, dude, there's been a lot.
Obviously, we don't want to incriminate anybody.
No. Exactly. I'm going through my head right now. But there was let's just go with hecklers,
Yeah.
Because there's two types of hecklers. Sometimes there's drunk people. They're excited. Everybody's laughing, and they mean well in their head. They just want to provide. They want to add to the show. Everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
So they don't mean to be assholes. They're just excited and can't help themselves. And then there's people who hate you. And so there was a lady that I had betted, if we could put it that way. But things didn't go necessarily great. Anyway, she was mad. She sent 2 particular hecklers to my show. I didn't know this, and I'm going up last.
Was this girl blonde?
Yes, she was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'll just write it down right here. But she sent 2 hecklers out specifically for me. And so they, little did I know, because they seemed like good, attentive audience members all night. And as soon as I got on stage, I didn't get 6 seconds into my jokes, and they were like, boo!
Was this an open mic or a show?
It was an open mic.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, I
caught you off guard.
I was not expecting this. And they're like, you're not funny. Boo! Say a joke! And I was just like, God damn, guys, I told a Vietnam joke. And they were like, my uncle was in Vietnam. You can't tell that. And I said, go home and tell your uncle that joke. And if he laughs, you can't be mad. So, but, yeah, plenty of crazy stories, man. But, the more to come.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then what are your plans, man, for the future? I mean, what do you want to do in comedy, bro? Do you want to travel get out of this town? Do you want to...
I want to get out of this town. I'm waiting on Netflix to call back, but they're busy. I get it.
Yeah.
I left about 100 voicemails, so they'll get back to me.
Yep.
It's only a matter of time. But, no, I would love to get out of here, man. I've been Northern California my entire life, and especially Chico. I've always said Chico is the type of town I can see myself coming back to, but you can't come back to something if you don't leave.
Yes.
So I need to grow up and commit. I'd go anywhere. I'd go Chicago, New York, San Francisco, LA. I would go anywhere.
Yeah.
I want to get out of this town. I love the scene we have here. It's very supportive. It's super cool scene, lots of cool people, but there's also only so much you can do.
Right.
So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love it here, and it's my home. But I would definitely... can't tell you my plan right now because I don't know, but I hope to progress in some form in the future.
I could see that, man. I mean, I feel like you're one of the best comedians in Chico. And like you said, there's only so much you can do. I mean, without staying here. But it's like the comfortability factor. I mean, everything. Obviously, it's expensive to move to a big-ass city, and who knows what you're going to...
And it's hard to take that leap. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I'm looking forward to it, bro. I hope so.
You will, man. Big things are going to happen for you, brother. I truly believe that. I think you've got a good future, kid.
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Where can people find more out about you on social media?
TJ Hudson Comedy on Instagram. TJ Hudson Comedian on Facebook. Or I don't know. Text somebody and get my number. Just call me.
All right, brother. Thanks for coming on the show,
Mitch,
man.
Thank you for having me, brother. I really appreciate it.